Ahead on this first Friday of 2026 edition of American Sunrise, the confetti, it's gone. The fireworks, they're over. The hangover, well, that's past. And millions of Americans are on the move. Airports are packed, highways are jammed, families heading home after the holidays, shifting from celebration back to real life. Womp womp. We've got the issues you'll need to keep your eyes and your ears out in the new year. And it's not just America's travel plans that are resetting. Politics and media, they're doing the same. Old narratives losing steam and new fault lines are emerging. We're going to break down who's adapting and who's already falling behind. And later, the swamp monsters are on notice as we head into the new year. The Clintons, Soros, Brennan, oh my. They've lived comfortably for decades. But 2026 might be the year that the drain starts working. Those stories and more as American Sunrise starts. Hello, Hillary. Right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrence.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Good morning. I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches, along with Emily Finn and David Brody. David's out in Washington, D.C. Happy Freedom Friday. Happy Puppy Friday. Happy first Friday of
That's a lot of Fridays.
2026. I keep thinking about you know how like you end up in the hospital, you always see the questions. They always say, "Do you know what year it is?" And I'm losing track. I'm just being honest. I'm losing track.
I'm so with you, Gina. 2026 doesn't even feel real.
No. And but it's going to get real very soon because we got a lot to talk about. We got the new year. Obviously, there's going to be a new tone. Is there going to be a new tone in the new year? I don't know. It depends. I mean, Trump's tone is going to be focused, obviously, on all things, just getting things done every single day. That's what he does. You got the midterms, Gina, coming up. You got the MAGA unity. I mean, how are we on MAGA unity right now? Is that going to be a problem? I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. What do you think, Gina? I don't know. We got a lot to discuss.
Yeah, well, it all depends on, as Steve Bannon would say, action, 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 I think, at this point. It depends on what happens and where the leadership goes in terms of MAGA, in terms of America First, in terms of wars, regime changes, all the economy. There's so much, David and Emily. It'll just be, it promises to be a big news year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That MAGA unity, I think, is going to be really important. I know that we saw at America Fest, there was Turning Point USA's event there in Arizona. There was a lot of differing opinions, for sure. So hopefully we can get to some unity throughout this year, David.
Well, the only thing that is certain is God's word, Gina, and that's the transition of all transitions to the Bible verse. There you go.
Wow, look at that.
Thank you very much.
So
I get paid extra
David.
for it.
You think
I get paid
you've been
extra.
doing
It's in
this
my
a
contract.
decade or so. That's amazing. Today's Bible verse, as David Brody announced, is from Psalms chapter 105, verse 4. Seek the Lord in his strength, seek his face evermore. With the new year now underway, all roads lead back to one place, the Trump White House. The opening moves of the administration are setting the direction for the year ahead. Joining us now with the latest is RAV Chief White House Correspondent Brian Glenn. Brian, well, President Trump really never stopped working over the holidays, but what are we watching for from the White House at this moment as we've been talking about the midterms a lot, but look, they are right around the corner. It seems like they're closer now, Brian.
Yeah. And you've even got, by the way, Happy New Year,
Happy
everyone.
New Year
I
to you.
hope
Happy
everyone had a great night. When you look at some of these primaries that are also coming up in some of these states, special elections happening, Georgia 14th, one of them. There's a few others around the country. So when you think about early voting in some of these 2026 midterms, they can start as early as February and March. So I think the campaign strategy is going to be kicked off relatively early this year. being that these midterms are so important. Now, the messaging from the White House, if you remember about a week ago, President Trump meeting with Zelensky and Benjamin Netanyahu. So foreign policy is definitely on the forefront as we go into 2026. But I think you're really going to see a focus on the midterms and the messaging, housing being one of them, affordability for housing being one of them, domestic things like energy costs, production, things like that will be the focus from the White House. But we still have, David, we've talked about this before, a lot of foreign policy issues going on right now. Will that dominate the news cycle in 2026 going up to the midterms? We'll see.
Yeah, we certainly will see, Brian. You know, how aggressively do you expect President Trump to campaign this year? I know Susie Wiles, chief of staff, in a recent interview, she had mentioned, she said, I haven't even told him yet, but he's going to be on the campaign trail. You mentioned the midterms are going to be a big focus. How aggressive do you think the president is going to be?
I think it's going to be very aggressive. We saw that in Pennsylvania. We saw that in North Carolina just before year's end. And I think that's a strategy that President Trump knows works. When President Trump gets in front of the public, when he goes out and does these mini rallies, he goes off to a pizza shop, a coffee shop, somewhere like that, a manufacturing plant, that tends to have a lot of weight on the American people. They love when Trump gets out of the White House and visits them. He's very charismatic. He's certainly a great messenger on these issues. So I do think we're going to see President Trump hitting the road. Don't want to say like February or March, but I think it's going to be sooner than later in this campaign cycle as he continues to remind people that the economy is improving, their life is getting better. The affordability factor is now coming into play where we can afford things. Gas across the country, many places under $2, well under $2, $1.89, $1.90 in some places. So I think Americans are starting to feel the effects of the Trump policy. So why not go out and tell people about it? So I think you're going to see that sooner and later, Emily.
What's interesting here, Brian, is that normally a president in the midterm elections, since he's not on the ballot, they don't go around and campaign that he is on the ballot. He's campaigning for others. But Susie Wiles also said in that interview that Emily cited that President Trump is going to be on the ballot. They are going to use the words, he's on the ballot, even though he's not. But he is. And that's interesting. It's an interesting strategy. And the reason they're doing that is for a lot of reasons. But one thing I can just see Trump saying now is like, look, if the Democrats take control of the midterms, they're going to impeach your favorite president. I can just see him doing that because that's the truth. So in a way, he is on the ballot.
You're right, David. He is on the ballot indirectly. And they've even said, I remember Jamie Raskin saying almost from day one when President Trump got sworn into office that he was going to lead the impeachment of President Trump. And this is on day one of his administration this second time. So you're absolutely right. And not only that, think about this for a second. If Democrats take control of Congress, they will control all of the committees, so oversight, all of them. So if you don't think they're going to launch every investigation 6 ways to Sunday on President Trump, his family, any type of business dealings that he's ever had in his entire life, it's going to happen under Democrat control. So yes, President Trump is on the ballot coming up in the midterms. And you know what? He's also on the ballot in 2028 if you want to kick the ball out that far, because it's the same situation. We'll just be redoing this every 2 years. So these next couple of elections, David, are one of the most important elections of our lifetime. I know people love to say that year after year, but I truly think it is. Because remember, a lot of these executive orders that President Trump has put in place are not codified into law through Congress. So that's another thing that Speaker Johnson needs to get a hold of, is get these things into law so that Democrats can't flip the switch.
Great point.
Yeah. I think each election is more important than the last because the stakes get higher and higher for a republic because the longevity of such a republic is so rare and so fragile and becomes only more so as it ages. Brian, one of the interesting things is some of the backlash, some of the division among MAGA, America First. You've had a front row seat to that in more ways than one. And I'm just wondering, do you think there will be any changes in the Trump administration as we go into this 2026 and into these midterms?
That's a great question. And, and I have had a front row seat to this. Unfortunately, I've got to see all this play out. I hope that the message is this to the base. We may disagree on a few issues. We don't all have to agree on one particular issue. We can have different opinions, but we collectively agree that being a Republican and having America First, Trump American first policies are what's best for this country. But when you have influencers online that continue to vilify people within our party, I think that's bad, to be honest with you. I don't think that's good. It creates division. So I'd like for the administration and maybe all the comms coming out of the White House to embrace all of MAGA, even if you differ on a couple issues. We must collectively, because we said this before, Dr. Gina, there's a lot of independents that voted with MAGA. And if independent voters feel like they were left out, and for whatever reason, MAGA didn't fully embrace them, or maybe they didn't get what they were promised, then they're not going to vote. So we need to bring the independent voters back into our party, if the ones that we lost. And not only promise, we need to deliver. And like you said earlier, Dr. Gina, action, action, action. Talk is cheap. People want action. They want to see things happen in their lives. So I'm hoping that this administration we can throw out the olive branch to some of these people that we might have alienated, get them back in the party, and let's win this election.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, do you think we will?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I'd like to just, for happy talk's sake, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. People are very scarred right now. The independents
That's
that
fair.
feel like they have not gotten what they voted for.
Yeah,
That's
and
fair.
I think there's some real concerns in MAGA. I think that I hear things that I've just never heard from people I never thought I would hear it from.
I know.
Deep concerns as we go forward. Yeah, you do know.
I know. I've heard, if you would have told me a year ago that Marjorie Taylor Greene would no longer be in Congress and our focus would be on all this other stuff, we'd have, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
This is crazy talk. But I pray for this country. I pray for everyone watching. Thank you to everyone behind the camera that makes this show go possible.
Yes.
They're amazing. We have an amazing team, an amazing family. Love you guys.
Love you back,
Happy New
Brian.
Year.
Brian.
Thanks for being
Love
with
you
us.
back, Brian.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up, we're going to check out the latest headlines from the RAV newsroom. Also later, sticking to resolutions. Can we do it? That's the question, right? We're going to discuss that. So much more. As American Sunrise continues this new year right after the break.